I'm not a diehard fan of the Transformers franchise, but with this animated prequel, I was kind of interested in watching it. So is it better than the last few live action installments? Let's get started on my review of Transformers 1. Let's go. What's going on, all my Flicksters? This is Jacey from Jacey Flicks, and I just got back from watching an early screening of Transformers 1 in theaters. By the way, thank you to Paramount for inviting me to go and see it, as well as my friends Maho and Eddie, who truly made it all happen. Go and follow them on YouTube as well, you guys. They got some great content. I got a cool little poster as well as a comic book for going. So again, thank you guys for making this happen. Now, before I do get started with my review, please note this will be a spoiler-free review since the movie isn't out just yet, showing in theaters on September 20th. Also, please make sure that you hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date on more new animated movies that I'm reviewing just like this. So Transformers 1 stars Chris Hemsworth, Brian Tyree Henry, Scarlett Johansson, Keegan-Michael Key, and more. This is the untold origin story of Optimus Prime and Megatron, better known as sworn enemies, but once were friends bonded like brothers who changed the fate of Cybertron forever. Now, originally I saw that this film was announced. I was intrigued, but like I said in the intro, I've never really been a huge fan of this franchise, mainly because of the films that follow the first live action film that starred Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox. The cartoon, however, was always fun to watch. I feel like over the recent years though, a lot of the stories, plot, and characters got jumbled and lost in the mix. We forgot who Optimus Prime and Bumblebee were, and even the villain-like nature that Megatron possesses. So with such animated interpretations or reimaginings of large IPs over the years, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, all of those, naturally I thought this could breathe some fresh air and really revive the franchise. And I'm glad to report, you guys, it does. Much like the recent animation Terminator Zero, Transformers 1 focuses not only on the friendship of Optimus Prime and Megatron, formerly known as Orion Pax and D16, but mostly the origin and how everything started. I figured it was going to have its funny moments throughout and some action, but what I didn't expect was the complexities of both of these characters and what leads them down to their separate paths. We never really got that in the movies, and I forgot how their rivalry really started. Deeper than that, you have scenes that elaborate more on how and why both begin to feel different than one another when the central plot is eventually revealed. We have an integral story of their home planet, the city where they start as miners, and how they met Bumblebee, played wonderfully by Keegan-Michael Key, and Alita, played by Scarlett Johansson. These two humble characters sort of stumble on a larger picture for the plot and how their history came to be. Now, without spoiling anything, I will say that I didn't expect so many of the Easter eggs and foreshadowing to take place in this film. It gives more context to where things end up, and it really explains things in a different type of way. I mean, the depth provides more meaning to these characters and their choices. What I also didn't expect is that you don't get Megatron's true nature revealed until a little more than halfway into the film. The first half focuses on the two's friendship and adds a layer that is kin to Professor Xavier and Magneto's complex relationship in the X-Men. You start to see why in the live action films, Optimus Prime never really wanted to kill or destroy Megatron when he would do what he does in a true villain manner. Now, as far as the voices, Chris Hemsworth voices our main protagonist Orion Pax, who becomes Optimus Prime, and does a good job capturing some of the tone of the legendary Peter Cullen at times, although you can't help but hear some of his accent peek out at times and wonder if you're going to hear some of the Thor-isms come out. But overall, that's just kind of a nitpick I have. He captures the character's true hope and optimism as you're watching the film. Keegan-Michael Key stands out with his comedic skills and timing as the film goes on, and surprisingly became one of my favorite characters in this film. There's one part in particular when when the audience is introduced to him, where he refers to one of his friends as A-Tron, which is a nice little nod to him and Jordan Peele's skit of the substitute teacher and their show Key and Peele. I kind of feel like he doesn't get enough credit for playing these animated comedic characters like Toad in the Super Mario Brothers movie, or just some of his comedic characters overall. Scarlett Johansson does what she does to bring some stern, all business, pretty badass Alita, but the true surprise in this film, and one that I wasn't expecting to show some range, was Brian Tyree Henry as D16, aka Megatron. I know we've seen him in Atlanta, even in films like Godzilla vs. Kong, Godzilla x Kong The New Empire, the Spider-Man animated films, and even as a standout character of Lemon in Bullet Train. But I don't think I've ever seen him in a role like this, where he starts off as a likable character and eventually becomes the foe to the protagonist. He does a great job here, showing his angst and furious nature when he lets his emotions overcome most of his decisions that he makes. Understandably so, in certain situations throughout, you could see why, but you kind of empathize with him when he decides to fight back during the third act of the film. Brian Tyree Henry captures the frustration of D16 perfectly until he starts to become who we know as Megatron. Now, when it comes to the animation, the 3D animated sequences in this film for sure impressed me. The action at times happens pretty quickly, but the details are never missed. It's no wonder this film was created in animated form, because it would have been extremely difficult to adapt this story to live action. Especially at times when you're getting to know the world of Cybertron, each character gets their shine of action and fighting when it comes to the latter half of the movie. What I also love most about this film is that the details are impeccable. So much so that one moment you are laughing and the next you're in awe of the action, and then finally you're shocked when certain motivations or plots are revealed. One of the things I hated about watching the live action films is that Optimus Prime was not much of a fighter. He was more of a defender, but we never really got to see what he was capable of. I mean, at times he would definitely defend himself, or most likely the humans involved in the plot, but we really didn't see all of what he can do, and we never really saw his, I guess for lack of a better term, his badassery. Well, let me be the first to tell you guys here that he shows his badass capabilities here, especially towards the end, and he really stands up for himself as well as his friends and everyone that's involved. So thank you to the writers of Andrew Barrar and Gabriel Ferrari, and also director Josh Cooley, because they show that part of Optimus Prime that I felt like was a breath of fresh air compared to those live action movies where he's just defending. And not gonna lie, he gets his butt whooped all the time. With all that being said, you guys, I'm gonna give Transformers 1 4 flames out of 5 and a fire film rating.
It's good. It's good.
This prequel is truly more than meets the eye and captivates from beginning to end. From the great voice acting to the attention-grabbing animation, fans of the franchise will truly appreciate the depth of storytelling and this revival of the franchise. You guys, I might just put this above the original first Michael Bay film that came out in 2007. Now, I know we had never seen anything like that before, and it was great to see, but this animated prequel excels in plot and character development much more than that first film ever could. I promise you that you'll find some kind of enjoyment in watching this film, even if you're not a fan of the franchise, kind of like me. I've only really liked the cartoons. The movie franchise was always kind of wishy-washy to me. Alright guys, so have you seen Transformers 1 yet, or are you looking forward to seeing it? Also, are you a fan of the original Transformers cartoon from the 80s? Do you think I should review the whole series on this channel? Which Transformers film is your favorite in the franchise? Let me know in the comments below. And last thing before I do go, you guys, please make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date. My name's Jacey from Jacey Flicks, and until next time, I'm out.